Welcome to the ShitKit clip. Here it is, alright? It's a very important bucket filled with goodies to help you clean your liver. That's what it's all about today. I want to talk about the liver, what it does, why you want to keep it clean, and how you can do that without surgery. If you have gall problems or liver problems, it may be a really good idea to do this liver cleanse. This process helps you clean out your liver. And your liver is quite a big organ, and it produces bile, and it detoxifies the body. So it's really central to your well-being overall, and you want to keep it happy, essentially. And so why liver stones? What are those? Well, the liver produces bile, and it puts that in the gallbladder, which acts as a bile pump, if you will. And then when you consume food, the liver or the gall and the bile just helps start the digestive process. And bile is a mix of intricate substances in certain ratios. And when you, for whatever reason, when those ratios change, a bile composition, it can affect the solubility of the constituents, and then that can produce gallstones. So in the end, you end up with blocked bile ducts. And there are, some of these are bigger, some of them are smaller. I've had stones come out as big as my thumbnail. Most of them are pea size maybe, or even smaller than that. Some of them can be as large as a dime in the US. And, an inch across, something like that. And I find it's a really good idea to get rid of these things that clog up your system and congest the liver and prevent it from functioning normally and efficiently. And if you struggle with things like back pain or depression or heart problems, as diverse as they are, they may be linked to a clogged up liver. Because if you cannot detoxify the blood, well, maybe then there's a problem downstream that translates into all these ailments that at first notice you wouldn't think of the liver as being a causative. And this often goes undetected because blood tests actually don't detect these stones. And so this is a thing well worth trying, because chances are, if you've been on the planet for a few decades, that you have these things. And I mean, I did this out of pure curiosity, nothing wrong with me that I know of, and I passed 850 stones to date. This is over the last 6 months. And I was astounded to see what comes out. I mean, I didn't want to proclaim myself the one exception in humanity that says, hey, after a few decades on the planet, you don't have any, because even kids can have them, actually. But I was surprised to find that many, and I've never heard of them before and had no idea I was carrying them around with me, never felt anything. Also, I want to say, like I said before in the process, I didn't feel those come out. Some people apparently feel them move like marbles, in the liver. I never felt a thing. I slept right through and got up the next morning and just passed them. So how does this work? Right, let me talk you through this. And the first thing I want you to do, really, when you deciding to do this, get this book. It really pays to get this book. It's called The Liver and Gallbladder Miracle Cleanse by Andreas Moritz. And this book details why it is that the liver is maybe connected to so many, or a clogged up liver may be connected to so many different kinds of symptoms and ailments. And why it is when you do a cleanse that they might actually get less and improve. And he talks about that in detail. And he also gives you basically the recipe of doing this cleanse. I will touch on that and basically give it to you here, but it is quite nice to have a written reference of it. And this marks where the recipe is, and I've referred to it again and again during my cleanses that I've done. So it's a good idea to get this. It cost me $9 including shipping on TradeMe, so it's very inexpensive. This whole method costs you probably less than $50 to do. Since I'm talking price, I just remembered. And so what is it? First of all, instructions. And you gotta know that when you embark on this, please do the whole thing. And that means you do a cleanse once a month until you're done, until no more stones come out 2 times in a row. That lets you know that yes, apparently all is gone, none is left, and I'm fine to go. And then you do it once a year to maintain a stone-free organ. But because if you only go halfway through, if you just do a few and then say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, might as well not start at all. It is better to not start this at all, better than finishing it or not finishing, just going halfway, simply because, see, when you eject the first stone, so some people who suffer from something and they've tried everything and nothing helped, and suddenly they do this cleanse and they feel a lot better right after the first one, which makes sense because it unclogs the bile ducts and bile can flow much better. And what happens then is that a few days later they may feel worse again. Why? Because more stones, you know, roll into a place again from other places and just clog up the main areas yet again. And that might happen a few times, so it's important to see this through completely. And some people have a quick improvement after their first cleanse, and for some it just takes a little longer. I myself didn't feel any different before and after, but I'm really happy having gotten rid of 850 stones that I didn't even know I had, and that I can see no benefit of carrying around with me. So I'm glad they're gone, and that's that. So how do you do this? Instructions, and then basically this is really simple. You drink 1 liter of apple juice per day for 6 days, and you have that juice in between meals. So 2 of these, 3 liters each, and then 4 glasses a day. And on day 6 you quit eating at 1:30 and drink all your juice in the morning, and then you prepare a salt solution. This is Epsom salt. And make sure when you get this, and I'm not sure because this actually doesn't even say it, I just was my own guinea pig with it, basically. I would ask at my health food shop if they have food grade Epsom salts, because maybe not all of them are equal, I don't know. So inquire locally. This doesn't say it is food grade, actually. But I took the plunge and didn't get punished, so I feel quite fine for people in Dunedin. If you go to Taste Nature, they have this, they got this in for me, because the other one was just in a bucket coming from a fertilizer company, and I wasn't too keen on consuming that. So they kindly ordered this in, and yeah, so definitely get Epsom salt that you're confident in consuming. And then you make a salt solution. Again, the exact measures are in the book. And it's 4 tablespoons to 800 milliliters or thereabouts. And you drink 2 of those glasses of salt in the evening, and then 2 the next morning. And what it does is it widens the bile ducts of the liver. So the juice action is really the acid in the apple juice that softens the stones in the gallbladder and in the liver. And the salt consumption not only cleans out your gut, but also widens the bile ducts. So the next step is to use grapefruit juice and mix it with olive oil. And this lemon is just here to remind me to speak of grapefruit, believe it or not, because I didn't have any at home. But yeah, you just make grapefruit juice and mix it with oil, shake it really well, and then down it in one go. And that oil mix gets the stones out in a really easy way. And then you lie down and sleep right through it. In my case, I've always slept right through, never felt a thing, and woke up the next day. And then you're gonna take another 2 glasses of salt, and then eventually you'll be running to the loo a little bit for about half a day or so. And in the beginning, what you will have is some solids come out, and then it's just water and stones. Which brings me to the next bit. This one. You don't have to do this. I highly recommend you do it anyway, though, just because it's good to keep track of what you're actually passing. So when you go to the loo, you use this and you pass everything that comes out through it, and you retain the stones. And then if you're really curious, you can use that and go through. Of course, this is voluntary, not mandatory, but I just got curious and wanted to see what you know, what I'm actually ejecting and what comes out. And it's really interesting because the color of the stones can vary. So for instance, gallstones are white and they're heavier, they're more calcified, as opposed to liver stones, which can be green or beige. In fact, they can be jade green, as green as this pendant. It's absolutely incredible, the color of some of these. And then the sizes range, like I said before, from anywhere from an inch to teeny tiny bits and pieces, and pea size is the most common, I think. Yeah, and then you're through. And that goes on for, well, a good half day or so, and then by the evening of day 7 you're totally back to normal and you can eat normally, and you will have cleaned your liver in the most easy way, and you'll be amazed what passes. So if you opt into this, have fun, enjoy this flush, and enjoy the ridding yourself of gall and liver stones in the most easy way I can think of, and let me know how you go. And needless to say, of course, even though I highly recommend this and I'm fully behind this process just because my experience is really good with it, if you opt into this, guess whose responsibility is it? Your healthcare is your responsibility. So just know that. And it goes without saying, really. But let me know how you go. I'd be keen to hear back from you. And until I do, good luck with your shit kit. Be well.